In this video, we're going to talk about self-regulation for leaders. Hi, I'm Ron with Lead Skill. We help leaders increase their own emotional intelligence and help their teams go further. So self-regulation, this is a big one. We talk a lot about self-awareness on our channel here at Lead Skill and in our business, helping develop leaders in organizations. So the question often comes up, great, if I get more self-awareness, what do I do with that? Well, what you do with that is you practice more self-regulation. So I will give a definition of self-regulation in just a second. But first of all, let me give a quick illustration of this. So this is very real for me. I have someone in the organization, in Lead Skill, helping me out with marketing right now. And I am not good at doing things on a consistent schedule. And so I have help like this to make sure that I get campaigns and all sorts of marketing out the door on a regular basis. So because things are often on a tight schedule, whenever you are constantly producing and putting things out in the market, you need to meet your deadlines. And so often it happens that I am in the middle of something and my marketing assistant will come to me and interrupt my work because it's like, hey, we're up against another deadline. And we had this run-in where it's like, after a while, it was like, I got the feedback, you're no fun to work with because I need to interrupt you, but the way you respond, I don't feel appreciated. And in fact, I don't look forward to bringing the completed work to you so that you can finish it, go over it, and make sure that we're good to go. And that caused me to really stop and pause and realize that, man, I have not been regulating myself well, especially when it comes to these sort of interruptions. I put that in air quotes to talk about it because it is the job of a leader to be interrupted and to deal with the interruptions. And so that's one of the places where self-regulation comes into play that's most obvious, is often a leader is like, our time is not our own. Our time is being requested and there's a demand for it from a lot of fronts, and just deciding and making sure that our priorities match up with that is a really big part of the job. So what is self-regulation? Let me give a quick definition. This is somewhat technical, but we'll unpack it here in just a second. Self-regulation is the ability to control or redirect our impulses and moods. It's also the ability to suspend our judgment and to think before acting. So there's several parts of that, but we have to be aware. We have to be able to recognize when we're feeling something or whenever our emotions are getting the better of us. And so one of the practices that helps in this area is the very simple technique that I've demonstrated before in other videos about knowing whether on an emotional level, are you clear, are you cloudy, or are you red? And so if you're clear, everything is a-okay and it's good, you're functioning at a high level. If you're red, your emotions are having a significant or very disruptive influence. It may even make it impossible for you to think clearly and to get something constructive done in the moment because your emotions are really in the driver's seat. If you're cloudy, you're somewhere in the middle. You might be tending more toward the functional side of being clear, or you might be tending more to the disrupted side of being red. But just recognizing in the moment, am I clear, cloudy, or red, is very helpful as a leader to just do a self-check. And if you can institutionalize or use this with your team, train them in this skill so that they recognize it in themselves and even help you to see and ask you the question, are you red right now or are you cloudy? And to just welcome that kind of influence and that mutual accountability, you will, one, create a more emotionally intelligent workplace, and two, you will definitely up your game and learn more self-regulation in the moment when it really counts. So being able to recognize and then redirect or disrupt an impulse or a mood that has settled upon you. And the main difference between the two is an impulse is kind of in the moment. It's triggered by an episode. A mood is more generalized. It kind of lasts longer. It can be like a cloud hanging over you. And so it's more like weather or, a mood that you carry because you woke up in a bad mood or because you're in a time in the business where it's really challenging. And so you may have a more generalized or a long-lasting mood around you where it's going to be more difficult to overcome, or you're going to have to manage that. Now, it is possible on the opposite end to be under a mood that is very positive. In fact, it's irrationally exuberant, we would say. And there are companies that are in danger of having overly optimistic projections, or leaders who are not really challenged and being challenged in looking at the other side, like not just believing the good press, not just believing all the good reports, and being able to look at reality and say, okay, wait a second. That requires self-regulation too, to not just get carried away in the optimism and all the positive vibes that everyone wants, and to be able to say, yeah, and at the same time, what am I missing? Are we dealing with reality? Are we in touch here? So self-regulation, how do we improve it as leaders? So one of the examples I already gave is just being able to check in with yourself and do that self-check. Am I clear? Am I cloudy? Or am I red? Another practice for self-regulation is mindfulness. And I've got some tools and even a framework to increase your mindfulness. I wrote a book on it called A Guide to Mindfulness Meditation. And the short version of that is even just taking time to pause and to take a deep breath. It resets and it helps you to disrupt an emotion, a mood, or an impulse that has the possibility of carrying you away in the moment. So taking a pause and taking a deep breath is another way to self-regulate. A third way to improve self-regulation is to actually track yourself, and in a journal, at the end of the day, at the end of a week, to notice the times when emotion had the better of you, and noticing what happened, what were the triggers, and how you could deal with it better. That kind of a positive review and a constructive, like, okay, let's game this out, let's think of a better way to deal with it, has been proven to show that in the next time that you're at bat, at the next time that you have an opportunity to interrupt or to redirect an impulse or a mood that is threatening to carry you away, you're going to be more present. You're going to be more aware of what's going on and also better able to interrupt it in the moment. If you'll take time to recognize the patterns that have been developing. So those are 3 tips that will help you improve self-regulation. We have more of that, and we actually offer full-scale training on emotional intelligence here at LeadSkills. So if you want to learn more and get in touch with us, please check out the links below in this video, and we welcome your comments as well. Let us know how this video is making a positive difference for you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.